family and friends. I am finally sitting in my real studio. I still I have to remove the tag on the window behind me, and there's some complications with the glare. But the theory that I started with, and this came from I called B&H and asked them, why can I not see the mountains behind me in in my broadcasts? And they said that you would have to have the force of the sun on your face, directly on your face, in order to see the background clearly. So, with that in mind, I built this entire structure in the last what 6 months, with the idea that I was going to have a second floor studio. And I designed the studio so that the sun is indeed shining in my face. That's why I'm wearing this hat. The sun is shining in my face, and yes, indeed, you can see the mountains behind me. So think about what just happened. Think about what I created for myself, and think about this in terms of your life and what you can build and what your dreams are. So my dream was to have a studio with windows right across from each other so that I could have the correct exposure to see behind me. I didn't know how I was going to build this house. And it's still unfinished. I'm working on the roof now, which is kind of delightful. But this is a single idea that I had, and in order to manifest it, it took really 2 years of camping out in the desert, thinking about building a house, trying to get a well dug, and then being told by the well driller, we won't even come up to your property because it's so not level. You have to have Norm come and plow out a flat area. So Norm came. I hired Norm. I talked to Norm. He came up. He said we could drill a well over here. Do you see how the manifestation process works here? And this is all because I wanted to have a second floor studio on my new house. And there was nothing like it. Nothing has ever been built like this house. Living the dream. But I'm just an example. I'm not a great person. I'm not a great thinker. I'm just a person, and anyone can do this. Anyone can fulfill their dreams to the deepest. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Getting the studio to actually work, where you can actually see behind you. Now I see there's some problems with this window over here, but I'll figure out a way around that, and I'll take the tape off the window. The window is very high up off the ground, so I have to move a scaffold over there just to take the tag off. So these are details that have to be worked out. And the termites, right? The flying termites, I could do without them, but this is the power of the human will. Of human will. If you are focused on something and you want it with all your heart, and you allow yourself to dream about this idea, you are absolutely 100% unstoppable. Brian Best, spiritualbeingcoffee.com. Check it out. He's got the greatest small batch coffee made ever. All organic. He's got incredible blends going. Skywalker. There are all kinds of different blends. He has a Peruvian. He has all kinds of cool stuff. But I definitely recommend checking out Brian's coffee. Brian and I had this idea years ago. Brian lived in California. He was a landscape designer, a landscape architect, and he was not happy with his lot. He was not happy with California. And just like I was not happy in New York, even though I had a wonderful community and all this good stuff. So I thought to myself, what can I do to help control Daniela's eczema? And we came up with the idea, let's move to Arizona. Well, Brian Best was coming up with that idea at the same time. And the first time I came to Arizona in this most recent episode, I've been in Arizona before, and that's a whole nother. I mean, this is mind boggling. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about this for a moment. When was I in Arizona before I made this trip? And do you remember when I made the trip to Arizona, I didn't have enough money for the return ticket. I did all this on faith, and I came out to Prescott where Brian was, because Brian told me, move to Prescott. The trees, they have wonderful trees here. It's a beautiful town. And I came out to Prescott to look at this property because I didn't want to live in a shoebox house anymore. I didn't want to live in a rectangular prison. But okay, so I'm saying to you, so Danielle and I decided to fly out. We didn't really have the money, but we flew out, and we traded in. I remember we traded in some XRP. We came out here, and we tried to work it out with Larry. This wonderful developer had this property in Prescott, but it was millions of dollars. And there was no way the bank was going to see it through. But it gave me the idea, well, maybe I could find another place that's not in a fancy place like Prescott for less money. And then lo and behold, on Zillow, as I'm looking for houses in Arizona, comes this property, 170 acres for 120 grand. I didn't know it was in the middle of the Mojave Desert. I didn't know it was 8 miles from the highway in the mountains. I didn't know that the climate it could be considered really harsh here, although to me as a New Yorker, it's very pleasant. I really don't want to deal with cold, like real cold anymore. I don't want to deal with humidity anymore. I don't want to deal with polluted air. I want to live in a clean way. So I this is all a manifestation. What you're seeing behind you is purely is a projection of my thoughts for years. Now, how many of you have had these kinds of thoughts? And then you've received the things you've thought about, but you don't go back in time and say, gee, 2 years ago, it was just a thought in my mind. And now I'm living this thought. This is the manifestation process. This is the architecture of reality being exposed. Now, the odd part is, and I'm sure that the threads of reality are woven through all experience, all time, all place, all people, all things you meet, people you meet. So I was just saying to you, the first time we came to Arizona, we came to Prescott, and we didn't have enough money for the return trip, but we came anyway, and it worked out. But I was thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. That wasn't the first time I came to Arizona. I came to Arizona decades before, decades, many, many years ago. What happened then? Well, we came for, I was involved in a different situation, I was in a totally different life. I was going to Columbia. I was getting my master's in creative writing. And we came out to visit some relatives of some people that I was with. What did they want to do? They wanted to they wanted to celebrate Thanksgiving in the desert. This was 30 years ago. I came to Arizona. I celebrated Thanksgiving in the desert, and I had a hell of a time. I also ate some pretty cool mushrooms, but that's, that and that I didn't expect to be eating, because I was with, I thought, really straight people at the time, and they unleashed these mushrooms on me. So we had a ball out in the desert. And then here, 30 years later, I'm looking on Zillow, and I'm trying to figure out how am I gonna move to Arizona because it's a better climate, and here I am, and part of the dream was that in New York, I had the studio that looked over the water, and I had these big artificial lights that were designed to mimic sunlight so that I could see behind me, and here I designed this. I'm not a cinematographer. I'm not a photography expert, but I just listen. And when I called B&H, they said, "Ah, you won't see the ocean behind you until you are flooded with sunlight in front of you." So I thought to myself, I didn't think of it then, but I mean, through this evolution of thought, I ended up designing a second story. It was always in my intention to have a second story studio, but I designed it. Actually, it was an afterthought. Now that I think about it, wait a minute. I didn't even what happened was when we were doing the first floor, one day Daniela came out and said, I or we decided together that we weren't happy with the idea with the octagonal quasi octagonal structure, and we wanted to add another little section of this thing. It was like divinely inspired. I didn't even think of it. I didn't even plan it, but we put this little triangular um, you know, adjoining room to this place. On the first floor, that's now our bathroom, which has met the you when you sit on the throne, you were seeing the most amazing scene, and we designed it. We lowered the windows so that you could have this view of the mountains, and it was an afterthought. I mean, what am I saying? But the idea of having a window right against another window. You can see, I'll show you the other side of this. That that's the window from the other direction. And I put a tinted window. I found it a tinted window for $10 they were selling at the used glass store. I'm just saying the way you just decide what you want and creation will help you. Will babysit you, will carry you across the finish line. You know that old, the old thing, it used to make me cry that, God, this God or the divine meets with you and, shows you your life, and you see, uh, 2 sets of footprints in the sand, right? And then all of a sudden, it's just 1 footprint of sand, and the divine says, "That's when I had to carry you. That's when I carried you." We are being carried by divinity. We are being carried into the promised land. Nothing can stop what's coming. And but the real deal, the real transformation cannot take place until we realize that we are the power and that we have the power, and that when we surrender our individual needs and I actually surrendered I surrendered my physical desires before I became religious. I said, "You know what?" I said, "This is just a hassle because, I'm just getting into all these situations, all these really difficult situations just because." And we saw a post the other day that was saying that they put certain difficulties into your consciousness, not to teach you, but to keep you from attaining this thing. So I've always had this thing where I'm heavily attracted to, to women, and it just brought me from one bad place to the next. And then I found myself in a very difficult situation in Tennessee. When I got out of it, I said, "That's it, man. I ain't doing this anymore. I'm going to surrender." And I spent 25 years kind of living a monkish life. I mean, it was just, I wasn't pursuing that particular line of thinking because, and through that, through, if you surrender one desire, if you work on yourself and you decide, I love eating lunch at 12:15, and you postpone it. This is from Tanya. This is a mystic text, an instruction book. It tells you, if you are used to eating, you have this glorious meal at 12:15 and you postpone it by 5 minutes, you are breaking that part of you break a part of your ego. When I started with the intermittent fasting, Daniela said, I'm not eating till 4 o'clock. I was like, are you out of your mind? You're not eating till 4 o'clock? That's insane. And then I said, well, okay, so I'll try it, because I do what my partner, I live with Daniela, and she goes through all kinds of different health things. And I said, okay, I'll try it. For the first like week or two, I was so cranky. I was so angry that I wasn't eating. I was impossible. And I said, there must be something to this. And as a result of pursuing this intermittent fasting, I usually eat around 12 o'clock now. We've surrendered a little bit. But because of that, I don't really have to eat. I don't feel, and by breaking that one little desire, you start to your ego gets comes into alignment with your higher self, because you're not worried, oh my gosh, I have to have this, if I don't get my lunch, I'm going to dissolve. I mean, this kind of thing. I'm just shading my eyes. I'll figure all this out. Well, I don't have a roof on. That's a little issue, but I do have the framing for the roof up. You can see I've put on the beams for the roof. So I'm working on it. So this is the thing. If you can destroy, and there's all kinds of people talking about it, and religious people and spiritual people talk about, you got to kill your ego, and I'm like, it's not like you kill your ego. You just learn to deal with it. I don't believe in killing your ego. I believe in, like, using it, because sometimes you need that kind of ego. But the idea is that when you can reach states of consciousness that are not like airy fairy, I'm meditating all day and I'm saying Om, and I don't do any of that stuff. And yet I feel more connected to the divine than I ever have in my life. I don't do any of those spiritual practices. I don't pray with a minion. I don't keep kosher, really. I don't, read the Psalms all day long, any of that stuff. And when I was earlier, I would be meditating with my guru, all these things to bring you into spirituality. After a while, to me, they're absolutely meaningless. They're just the way there. That's the pathway that we take. But once you get even closer, you get a little closer to your divine, you don't really need that, in my opinion. I'm just talking, and everyone is different. And in fact, the spiritual pursuits can become a bit of an ego journey as well. You can be like, well, I pray every day with a minion, and I keep the kosher of kosher, and I only think holy thoughts, and I look away when I see a pretty girl, a pretty woman. I just, like, I look the other way. This kind of stuff. I don't buy any of that now. I don't buy. I believe that it's better to kind of go with your own flow and learn to control it, but not from the not kill it. Just learn to how to use that same energy in different ways. So now, for me personally, like, if somebody close to me says something really disruptive, or something that pisses me off, I I'm consciously trying to go directly into opening up my heart chakra and just feeling love for everything, and certainly not getting emotionally sucked into the whirlwind, to leave that, to, let's see, we're down, well, I'm just trying to read the numbers here, I can't really see. It's either 30 or 80, I can't, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's not by the numbers. It's not how many people are here because everybody wants to know what's really going on. What's the news, Ellie? When is it going to happen? This is total distraction. If you're thinking about that, you need to work on. I believe, and I went through that. We all went through that as a community. What's really going down? When is the EBS coming? When is XRP going to the moon? All this stuff is just a distraction from the real work. The real work is just to open your heart chakra, is just to be at peace with yourself. And I'm fortunate in that I live in a place where there are not so many distractions. And the distractions are really quite lovely and beautiful. I'm experiencing miracle after miracle because it's not even I'm not even here in a sense. I'm not the person, the one who wants to be, famous or rich or anything. It's gone. I don't have that anymore. I don't have those kind of those needs. I'm not saying they're bad things, but it's not the pressing point. The thing that I really want is, and I'm sure you're in feel the same way, is peace on earth. That's all we want. We don't want to be, I want to be a zillionaire, so I can, give away all my money. I mean, I mean, but 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 to be on the idea to harness the idea that the person that you're dealing with is you. There's absolute unity amongst forms. It's just forms of the unity presenting themselves as being different in order to practice understanding that behind the veil, it's all oneness. Okay, it is a total distraction. Correct my friend. It is a total. When you wake up, whenever you are looking at a string, is what is happening. Flow. Yeah, you got to be in the flow, right? Yes, your own flow. Yes, whatever inspires oneself to become a better person. That's what one should do, right? Yeah, I think so. But XRP brainwash family. Yeah, listen. I think XRP is going to the moon. I have no doubt in my mind. It is spectacular. Yeah, and this is just this, I could spin this camera around and each angle you would say, "Wow, that's even nicer." I mean, look out here. I don't know if you can see through the sun, but you can see a great distance. And unfortunately, that particular view is tainted at night by lights from the town, but this is all a dream, man. I mean, I followed to an ad on Zillow that, and everybody was saying, "Ellie, did you go there? Did you check it out?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to. I just wanna go there. I wanna buy it." And then I had all these difficulties and everything else, and we didn't really understand what it was, but it's so now, this as of this morning, well, okay, so miracle after miracles. Then I somebody on the channel named James says, "I wanna come up. I wanna come up and see what you're doing." The man is a genius. How does this happen? How does this even happen? So this morning we went to buy a particular breed of chickens, AM Somali, they're called. They're totally black chickens. That it's just like one miracle after another. I'm like, James, let's just and the day before we went, we bought two pistachio trees and a mulberry tree, and what was the other one we got? Pistachio, mulberry, and Apple. We got an a fantastic, a black apple that James said is amazing. You can't make this stuff up. We are living the dream. So now James is working on the chicken coop. We allow each other to do our own projects. We know that he has the same mentality as me. He has his own mind space and he likes to work on his own projects. And I like to work on my own projects. I'm framing the roof now. So we work separately, but when we need to, when like last night, was it last night? This morning, we really need to get the chicken coop sealed up so we could take the chicken out of the I mean, so we work together. We can work together. But it this is if you're carrying a certain frequency, and I think that's really the key to all this. And even if you're not carrying I don't think I was at as much at peace. I was certainly not when I came up here. I was a broken wretch. I was like confused. I didn't know what to do. We had a suitcase full of silver and gold, and we bought a we didn't know what we were doing, but we did it. We figured it out step by step. And, I always say that the manifestation process happens step by step. Like, I'm doing the roof now. It's just designing itself. I'm saying like, "Well, do I want this angle or that angle?" And it's just like, "Okay, this board is here and that board's there, so let's just this piece needs to go here, and that's it." And that's the way this thing is unfolding. So if you're watching on X and you're saying, "When are the arrests gonna happen?" and when is XRP going to the moon? And when is silver going to be $1,500 an ounce? And all this stuff, it won't matter if you don't have the right mindset anyway. You'll just be, okay, so now I'm the same nervous idiot that I was, but I have tons of money. It won't make a difference. You won't be able to. That's why all these people go nuts when they win the lottery. They just lose it because they don't think it through. They don't understand what it means. But if you have values, if you are in your own musical, if you are singing your own musical and you're in your own movie and you're participating and you're loving it and you're growing and you're accepting the difficulties with fortitude and with grit. I mean, grit, that was the key to this, Good to Great. I read this novel. I forget who recommended it to me. I think it was for some kind of a course. I read this Good to Great. But they were saying that the difference between good and great is huge. But the real difference between good to great is it depends, I think they were saying, on grit. It just means like like me, like doing this video. I I've been sitting here for an hour trying to figure out, like, what the hell am I gonna talk about? I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say. I'm not seeing any news that, it's like, whoa, the unbelievable. Any ideas the ideas that the ideas of the Tartarian, this advanced civilization and the criminal enterprise that's running the world, we all know that. We all know that on this channel. I'm trying to see the number here. I can't see if it's either 90 or 30. It doesn't matter. But the news is the news. The one thing that I saw that I thought was interesting is that XRP, that X kind of stands for that it is not owned by a particular entity, but it reminds me of algebra. In algebra, the X is the unknown. So XRP is like a person without a real ego because the X could be anything, right? It could be real estate, it could be silver, it could be a vacation in Venice. The X represents the variable. RP and the ripple, the X. This is a phenomenal clue into where we are going. The X is supplied by you. You may be attracted to nutrition, like Daniela is all about nutrition and not being around poisonous objects like plastic. So James and I are building gardens out here now, and we're designing them with the idea of let's use glass and wood. We don't wanna do everything in plastic. We don't everyone out here, most people have these things which are very practical. You put a piece of plastic over a couple of, CVC pipe, the PVC pipes or some kind of thing, and it's a great easy way to do it, but if you can get windows for $10, we're talking about like a 4 by 4 window for $10, and I can buy a trailer full of wood, like, the equivalent of like $10,000 worth of lumber from Home Depot. I can get a trailer load of the thick boards, like 4 inches thick by 10 inches wide by 16 inches long. I get a whole trailer full for $150. So I'm just saying, if you have a little grit and you can think outside the box, you don't need to be a zillionaire. And if you are, how do you how do you how do you how do you relate to materials? How do you relate to creativity? How do you we just we were invited actually for lunch to a very, very nice couple down here, and they have a completely different way of looking at housing. They have a beautiful two-story place with and their focal point in the whole house is this house long porch, second floor porch where they like to sit at night and look at the stars. How beautiful. How beautiful. And the way this couple makes a living, they drive a truck together. She drives during the day, he drives at night. They share they do their work together. This is so beautiful, and they've manifested this wonderful house in my neighborhood. I mean, they're probably like at least 3, 4 miles from here, but they're one of our closest neighbors. This is the genius and the uniqueness and the opportunities of reality to manifest whatever it is that you that you feel driven to. And it's like a kaleidoscope. You can change it. You can say, well, I'm going this way, and then you end up going that way. And it's like me, I was trying to find a place in Arizona. I was figuring, a nice house and it just didn't work out. So I went that way. I said, okay, this is, I mean, 170 acres. I was like, to a kid from New York, that just sounded like like a sundae with 3 scoops of delicious ice cream. I mean, 170 acres, a sandbox that big, what could be bad? And some people would come up here and just say, "It's a desert, the winds are too strong and it's too hot, it's too this, it's too that." It's just I don't know. The opportunities, the variety, the the, um the journey that we all experience is unique and vast. That's all I'm saying. So let's see. Plenty of news. Yeah, there probably is plenty of news, but I'm not really so focused on it. It's just unknown exactly. Yeah, there's plenty of news you could get involved with if that's what you want. But it's not the news that's really going to in the long run. It's not that's not the piece of piece of heaven. Yeah, and everyone is entitled to this, and you can all have it, and you don't have to wait until your 401k, whatever. I mean, another thought that I have is that in 2020, when this whole COVID epidemic thing and hit, and it was just like, and I was losing my job and all this stuff. I just said, I don't know if it was 2020 or 2018. I don't remember what it was. And I've been reading about Q, and I understood what was coming during the COVID epidemic. I said, I'm taking my money out of my 401k and buying silver and gold. I don't trust these people anymore. Physical silver and gold. And thanks to this crazy thought that I had, I was able to get out here and buy a truck, and I bought the land with gold. And do I have regrets that I sold when I sold? Yeah, I do. Okay, so one other thing I want that another really important thing that I want to mention is apparently someone got scammed out of their XRP by somebody offered them 10% interest on your XRP for life or whatever it was, and they gave up their information to this person who was a scammer. Do not give your info to anyone. If your mom calls you and says, I just got a call from Coinbase, and you just give me your number, and I mean, do not give your number to anyone. I will never, ever call you and say, let's do a deal. I know a lot of you get these scam from scammers saying, it's Ellie. Why don't you take, let's do some crypto stuff together. That is not me ever. I will never do that. I would never violate another human being that way. These are scammers. So please, people, do not do like I did. But I still blame Coinbase for this, because Coinbase made it impossible to hold on to our XRP. And the scammer called me and says, XRP, you got to get it off and that was it. I lost, a ridiculous amount of XRP. But that was the price of an education. I could have spent that money on a law degree, just to find out that it's all shenanigans and illicit structures anyway. Okay, so I can't see as well. That's an issue that I'm going to have to deal with. It could be my glasses too. My glasses are all fogged up. I will figure it out myself. Also, right. Um, Piece of heaven, stunning. Yeah, the views are amazing. It's amazing up here. And here's what I perceive to be as the okay. So this is what I was telling James this morning. A lot of people like to go on vacations to faraway lands, and they like to go see this, see that. I told James this morning, I said, what I like to do is live in an amazing place and spend my whole life discovering the nuances, the specifics, the inner workings, the inner to really learn about a particular place is what floats my boat. Like, I spent 25 years learning about Torah, about the Old Testament, and the community, and what it is to be Hasidic, and what it means to go to a Farbrengen, and it was wonderful. But then the director, or my Abishter, my conductor, said, "Okay, we're done with that. Now it's time for you to do something else. It's time for you to give up your job where you're holding on by like a fingernail to this job that you hate, and they're attacking you every day, and and we can't get you out of this job. You will not. I will not surrender, because I have grit. I have ultimate grit. They were not going to fire me. They tried every trick in the book. I've been court-martialed by every assistant principal in New York City. I mean, I had a target on my back for 20 years, starting in year one. They started coming after me in year one, and I was like, I'm not giving up this job. I'm going to keep this job. That was just my destiny. So for 20 years, I held on to it. And then they said, okay, now you have to get vaccinated. And I said, see you later. But this is how the world turns. But anyway, so the idea of not only developing, like, if you live up here, you can look out the window, the same window, and notice different things every day. You could look at this at the same view and say, "Well, wait a minute, I never saw those rocks over there. I never saw that tree." And there's a kind of a mystic, um, malleability. There's kind of a, like, we think of that the scene is, it's rocks and sand, and it's the same every day. It is not. It is not the same every day. For this is my observation. I could be a total kookasoid, from my experience, it changes all the time. Things open up and close. Things shift, and this is, for me, it's fascinating. It's wondrous to be in a place. And remember, we just went through love the place, real cool. Yeah, it's amazing up here, and this is just one view. I mean, and I'm not even showing you the, it it's, each day, each time you come and I will broadcast, you will see a different aspect as I improve the place and take off the stickers. And what's behind that sticker anyway? Was there a mountain behind it? I don't know. Whatever. Infinite, the infinite nature of your thoughts and your thinking. So, yes, we can explore the same, even if you live in a disgusting place. That's my belief, is that wherever you live, there's some cool place to check out. And it's probably, every time you visit it, it's gonna be slightly different. In the East, the seasons change. You'll never see the same. You walk into the woods, the same exact spot on 2 different days, it's a totally different place, and you approach it with a totally different view. And so too, if you think about all the multiverse and your ability to imagine and to travel and to visit with people that you are thinking about, it's I listen, I like to watch movies, but I think of it as kind of like, let's see what somebody else is thinking about. It kind of, it's not to diminish the beauty of my own multiverses, my own thought patterns, my own remembrances, my own imaginatory episodes, and you know fantasies, and remembrances, and why am I thinking about this event at this particular time? Why am I thinking about when I was 6, somebody said something to me, and now I'm thinking about it at 71? What does that mean? What is the meaning of this? I want to give a little shout out to the idea of tantric vibrational energy, that that there is a kind of inherent sensuality to being alive that I don't think should be discounted. I don't think it should be suppressed the way it has been suppressed, or shaded, or um, I really believe that one should be in the love space at all times, that one should be always in a state of love. E even what even or that you should return to it, or you should know that it's there, and you should not be ashamed of these kinds of, vibrational energies, that this also has a godly, a divine, flow to it. And this is not to say, I'm not talking about pedophiles, man. They should be burned at the stake. They should be, tortured to death for what they've done to children. I'm talking about just being in love. And it could be like, a few days ago, I was in love with the chicken. It was just like the presence of this chicken, an animal that lives to serve humanity. That we've already gotten 2 eggs from our first chicken in 2 days. It's just it's like s it w you know, my ability to help others and to think of others is nothing compared to a chicken. Chicken lives to you know, it parts with its egg. If there's nothing to fertilize it, it's just like, I don't know. There's so much love in this world. There's so much goodness. There's so much giving. And the creepazoids don't want us to recognize it. They want us, vaccinated and nanoparticled up and, in America, there was a gentleman on the channel from England, and he said that that his cows do not get vaccinated at all. And in England and Europe, they're not. But in America, when at least out here, which is beef country, I mean, there's tons of ranchers out here. Uh, when they say we don't vaccinate our cows, they don't. However, when they buy the calves are vaccinated for this black leg disease, just like the chickens. You could buy a chicken that is the descendant that its parents were vaccinated, and it isn't. Like the chickens we bought, uh, I guess we bought 3 chickens today. Was it 3 or 4? Do you remember how many how many?
3.
3. We bought 3 chickens today. Um, and these are purebred, AM Somani chickens, black chickens that are offspring of chickens that are probably offspring of chickens that somebody somewhere along the line, they came from some kind of source that probably vaccinated them. So we're just living in a post-pure world, but we're heading for a time. I mean, things are being discovered, people are waking up, and soon we will be, interesting times, yeah, the interesting times, that's for sure. Will XRP go to the moon? How could it not? It's a done. Will silver go to the moon? How could it not? But to spend your time thinking about it, talking about it, it's limited in its to want to manifest unlimited funds is very, self-destructive, because then you will manifest unlimited funds and you really won't know what to do with it. Whereas if you're more involved with the manifestation process and becoming yourself and living your dreams, when you come into this money, it will be, "Oh, oh, yeah, we have this money now." So I know exactly. I mean, that's the whole point of being an investor. What makes me happy more than anything out here, more than, finishing projects or anything, is to invest a little money into something. That's where and Daniela has to constantly, like, watch me and make sure that I don't just, if we get a bunch of cash for all of a sudden, and all I wanna do is get more crypto or get more silver or get some, whatever. That's what floats my boat, because I'm not focused on immediate gain, or I don't even really think about cashing it in. I don't think, "Oh, if I do it now, I'm gonna get this." I don't think like that. I just think like, "Let's do this just because it's kind of like developing your own potential." It takes time. Let it percolate. Let's buy some land and see what happens. See if we can survive out in the Mojave Desert. And over time, it does pay off, but you can't, if you're constantly switching your investments, if you're buying and selling it, then you're just gambling, and that I don't think is necessarily productive, at least not for me. For me, it's more productive to just, I bought some XRP. I managed to hold on to a little bit of XRP, XLM, and these things. Uh, I accumulated over the years, because every time I had a little bit of extra money, I would put it into it, and I just hold it because I know it's a good thing. Just like the land. I have this huge canvas now to paint, and then along comes James, and James is saying, "Let's buy these chickens. Let's buy these goats. Let's plant these." He wants to do a thing with mangoes. He says there's a certain kind of mango that in Japan, they pay, $100 for a mango. Why wouldn't we wanna grow such things in our own way? At our own pace, with nobody breathing down our neck, and so I managed. I mean, in the long of it, I managed to take out my 401k and buy a bunch of land and a truck, an old truck, and, some boards, couple of used glass pieces of windows and doors, and throw together a life, and then it's starting to accumulate into other aspects of, if you're not constantly directing it, if you're not constantly thinking about it, if you're not constantly um hovering over it. How much is it now? And I do hover over it. But things grow the way they're supposed to. However, on the other hand, when I say that, it helps to have somebody who knows how to grow things. So, like James is, I thought I knew about trees and flowers and shrubs and seeds and fertilizer, and I thought I was like the cat's meow when it comes to gardening. And it's like James is running the rings around me. He's got it all figured out. He's got, it's just a delight that the universe would bestow such a kind of a gentle spirit into my household, into my community, onto our, really, I call it our land, because I don't think of this land as like, "Oh, I'm gonna, I'll put it into a trust fund for my great," it's like, it's part of the community. It's part of us being off grid and off matrix and seeing where we feel like going. And whoever comes up, there are people who come up here. There'll probably be some people who are difficult and want things or whatever, and we'll just tell them, this may not be the place for you. But they're also like somebody like, James Lawrence came up here, and he was also a very giving person and very easy to get along with,
And someone else might be interested.
and somebody else may be coming up. But we wanna this is our promised land, and we wanna just grow it the way we wanna grow. We don't have any, well, rule number 5 says, "If you come here, you must bring your own sleeping bag." I mean, it's just like we're open to the universe. We're not saying, "Oh, this is gonna be this kind of community." We have friends that have a very well-developed community, and they've gone through a lot of hard times as well. But they are they are mostly focused on Christianity. We don't want to have those kinds of focuses. We just want to focus on being one, of being in a place with people who aren't driven by their ego, who aren't, you know, it isn't all about them. It's about us. It's about us getting to live the dream that we were robbed of at youth, as kids. We're grown-ups playing in a big sandbox up here. I mean, it really even looks like a sandbox because, yeah, I basically bought a canyon. I mean, it's a big sandbox. But, yeah, so anyway, that's just neither here nor there. Simple Low, yeah. I'm Simple Low, Kenzo, yeah, right? Yeah, interesting times. Love your place. Yeah, but listen, nobody wants this place. That's why it was so, when I came up here, the one neighbor I had, he says, "Do you know why you got this place so cheap?" I said, "No, why?" He says, "Because nobody wants to live here. You're in the middle of the desert. The climate sucks." I mean, I actually like the climate, but he says the climate is terrible. It's harsh. It's this. It's that. Nobody in their right mind would live there. He said that's why it's so cheap. I don't care. I don't care that other people don't want it. I want it, and I'm gonna make it work, and I love it here. And we're building a house for the divine in the middle of Desolation Row. I mean, to a normal person, this is the Mojave Desert. I'm living in the mountains in the Mojave Desert. But to me, it's like, I mean, this is my place. There are no rivers or streams right now. I'm okay with that. It's funny because my the conductor that leads me, whatever that is for when I left Crown Heights, said, "You need to hear the ocean." That was the message I got. You need to hear. No, it wasn't even the ocean. It just said, "You need to hear the sound of water." Something like that. So I went and I lived by the ocean for a couple years. And then Daniela came along and she was like, "Let's get the hell out of Dodge, man." And we did. And we ran like the wind. Well, we broke down like two trucks on the way, and we're just like, I don't care what happened. I don't care how many trucks I gotta, we spent like thousands on a truck, and then it broke down 1,000 miles later, and we had to leave it. And I was just like, let's keep going. Let's just keep going. Don't eat, Anyway, it's a great journey. I don't have a lot to say because I don't really wanna triangulate this into the group spirit, but, is it gonna happen July 4th? I don't know. I don't really care. If it happens July 4th, that's great. If it doesn't happen July 4th, that's great. Either way, it's great. Either way, I'm focused on chickens. I'm gonna be building the roof. Hopefully Daniela will get the right fruits and things that she needs, and we will have to go to town more than I want to, I'm sure. But we fulfilled some things. We're actually going to be going to a. We've been looking for this swimming hole. There's a notorious swimming hole up here, so actually see some water. So we have our nice neighbors who had us over for lunch today are going to pick us up early in the morning and take us out to Upper Trout Creek Lower Trout Creek to and they said it's deep enough to put up to your belly button, but I'm like, we don't care. We just want to go see some water. We're just happy, and we're not. I do feel rushed. I do feel like I want to have the roof on yesterday, but not that rush. I'm not willing to step out of my feelings of being out of the matrix and being in a sandbox and being a grown-up child, never too late to have a happy childhood and help those around us, be respectful to my peeps, and just have a great day. That's the long and short of it. And the truth is that here we are in the middle of nowhere with kind of like a kind of an easy peasy kind of thing, but we are driven to accomplish up here. We work, we work as much as we can, as much as we can stomach, and at this point in the journey, it does entail a lot more trips. Like when we first got up here, Danielle and I were in town like every other day because we needed to be. We didn't know what we were doing, and we were trying to figure out where can we find food, where can we find this, where how can we get water up here, and it took a lot of um, tactical maneuvers and we're in a similar situation now because now we have chickens, we're about to get goats, and we're orchestrating all these elements of reality. We have a beautiful garden now. We're eating fresh vegetables. It's beyond my wildest dream. And you know what the greatest thing of all is? That it's something that that if you live in the city, you think nothing about it. We have a flush toilet. A toilet that flushes with a handle. For 2 years, I've had to pour buckets of water down the damn toilet. And do you know what? Every time I flush that toilet, I'm just like, ah, life is so wonderful. It's just we're not used to appreciating the small things and the small comforts and the taste of a freshly grown vegetable. Or now I have eggs, not even from the farm fresh store. We have eggs from chickens now, man. I mean, does it get any better than that? Soon we'll have goats. We have goat's milk. We have a place in town to buy goat's milk, but raw goat's milk. But and it's really good stuff. But soon we'll have our own goats. We went to when we went to buy the chickens this morning, the woman we bought the chickens from had ostriches and emus and donkeys and horses and what else? I don't know, but she had these cool black chickens that James is saying are really wonderful, special chickens, and that we could breed them and sell them. Well, just like we could propagate our own trees up here and sell the trees or sell the fruits or sell the nuts. We have two female pistachio trees now, and we're going to go back. Our friend Doug from M&D Trees, he ran out of male pistachios, so he said, just come back in a couple of weeks and I'll get you a male. We'll probably buy some other cool trees, but the potential the potential here. So we've got 4 trees that are not in the ground yet. We've got 5 fruit trees that are in the ground. We've got a beautiful garden. We got 4 chickens, and we're producing eggs. I haven't eaten the eggs yet. I haven't even had time to eat our own eggs. It's just life is beautiful. But I didn't think I'm going to live in the Mojave Desert to start a tree farm or to have chickens or to have a space where you could broadcast because the sun is shining in your face and see the mountains behind you. Like they said at B&H, you need to have the sun shining at your face in order to see the background. How many times have I broadcast here with all you see is like white behind you? Now you can actually see my view, and it's on the second floor. I built this with my own hands. I put in every screw on this floor that I'm sitting on. Every screw except for the Lawrence helped me. Lawrence came. That's the beauty of the universe. Lawrence came out of nowhere. Shelby said, This guy. This guy came with tattoos all over his body. He was like he was in MK Ultra, and he was he had all these stories, and I was just like, I like this guy. We had fun together. He had tattoos all over the place, and he helped me frame the house because he was like a regular framer, and he was just like, let's push up this wall already. I was doing it piece by piece, but he really helped me move forward and helped me carry these heavy windows like behind me. This window is I don't know what it weighs a lot, and it's awkward. Yeah, I couldn't carry this up by myself. I would have had to use my handy dandy block and tackle, which I do have, but it's much easier to have a friend to help you do these things. It's a beautiful universe, and keep focusing on your dreams. Don't get distracted by July 4th and all this other stuff. I'm curious to see how many people are on. I can't really read the numbers. I think it says 91, which is good for you. Lately, I've been getting like 40 during the lives, and it just doesn't matter. That level of am I competing with Joe Rogan? No. I mean, it's just like he's in a different, you know, is he more fascinating? Is the information he's promoting more important? Well, for the people that are attracted to his channel, it is. Maybe if Trump gives trans mullah another 300 billion on top of the 300 million, maybe Iran will open up the straits for us again. Okay, so if you want to get involved with that, that's fine. I just this is all a movie. We're watching a movie. What's really happening in Iran? You're really going to spend time when you could be dreaming of your future, when you could be dreaming the relationship of your life into your existence, by actually changing yourself and becoming the kind of person that would attract such a person like Daniela. She came out of nowhere, but she's an invention of my own creative mind. I was in a stuck place. I was like, hey man, I'm a friggin' mouse in a maze. and I got to get out of this. I can't live like this. I can't be this person anymore. And then, slowly I lost my job. I got out of my community, and I got an email from Daniela, and she said, I want to meet you. So I said, yeah, let's meet. Manifestation after manifestation, dream after dream. It's a kaleidoscope. All you got to do is just hang in there, and have the grit to demand, or to desire what you really want out of life. And it will flow to you. It may not flow that moment, and you may forget about it. I recommend writing everything down in your notebook. I keep a notebook, and periodically I write down, like I wrote down, I want a brunette. I want a brunette woman, and Danielle's a brunette. I wrote that down in my book before I met her. This is, and now I'm trying to manifest some silver and gold, because I sold all my silver and gold, and I want to own it again. It makes me feel comfortable. Whatever, more XRP. I mean, but at the same time, I need plywood. I need a roof. There are a lot of things we need. I need a lightning rod. I want to put a lightning rod on the roof so we don't have to worry. It's a magical place. And if you really take off your dark glasses, and you really start to look at where you are, when I was a writer, the first, I was telling this to James, the first article that I published, I published a few articles, but the first one I published was for a fishing magazine called Long Island Fisherman. And I wrote this article called Backyard Bass. And the theme of the article, it's no different from what I'm telling you now. The theme of the article was, wherever you live, wherever you happen to find yourself, there's always a great place to go fishing. There's a surprising place to explore the magic of nature. There's always something more to look at. I discovered when I was living in the suburbs this pond that ran through the golf course that was loaded with sucker fish that were behaving like trout in the stream. What happened? You had to kill something?
Yeah, the termite.
Termites. Yeah, we got termites. But anyway, yeah. So backyard bat. But the idea that wherever you are, just spend time loving and learning how to grow things there, and learning how to appreciate the neighborhood. And before you know it, you may end up in a place like this. Just appreciate where you are, and appreciate who you are, and appreciate your thoughts, and appreciate your dreams, and hopefully they will manifest. So let me just remind everyone, and about this, the health thing, that if you buy, there's a way, if you can't figure it out, you could call Dr. Stacy. She's the go-to person with all this. But if you haven't tried these patches, this is part of our success. This is part of our health. Danielle is like, you didn't put your patch on yet, and I put on the patch, and suddenly I feel different. I feel it's like my body comes to life. I always put on X39. Today I have on glutathione patch, but there's the Y age. There's a special going on until the 28th of June, and you can get the Y age trio, which is glutathione, carnosine, and Eon, which fights inflammation. And if you order it now, you can get the silent nights patch for nighttime, so you can sleep through the night. I sleep through the night now. I never did that in my life. Because of these patches, I sleep through the night. I'm 71. I'm building a house. I'm up on the scaffold. Daniela was asking the other day. She said, you told me you needed a tall ladder. I said, well, I have scaffold. We found some scaffolding in the desert. So she asked James, she says, what's safer, the ladder or the scaffolding? And he said, scaffolding. But it's a magical life. So I highly recommend this. The water machine is also enlivening. David Schmidt has figured out a way to infuse. Remember, this is a guy who worked for the Navy SEALs. This is a guy who worked on the red light program for the astronauts. When the astronauts came home, they were all messed up, and they started using the red lights. This is a guy who's using frequency and light. So he designed this X2O machine. I'm surprised that more people don't order it. We have it. That's the first thing we turn on in the morning when we wake up is the X2O machine, and it takes 45 minutes to process a couple of glasses of water, really one 16-ounce glass. And so when we wake up, usually we wake up and we turn on the machine, and then we kind of like stay in bed for 45 minutes until we can get this X2O water. But it is infused with 6 different frequencies of light. This is Tesla, this is Tartaria, this is the technology of the ages. Free energy in your system. You're drinking light. Think about it. And you're also have light going back into your body with this. But call Dr. Stacy. I met a person today who said they had fatty liver issues. I said, call Dr. Stacy. She'll tell you which patches are the best. You were not allowed to make health claims, but for sure, if you go to your medical doctor, he's going to do everything. He's not going to necessarily have a cure the way these things, and we're not allowed to say that. We're not allowed to say, and I'm not saying this is a cure, but I'm just saying that that the way to deal with ill health is to stimulate stem cell production the way X39 does. It stimulates your stem cells. Your stem cells can go anywhere and heal anything. This is what we're coming to with medbed technology. It's just that until the medbeds get here, or even after the medbeds get here, this technology is a technology, puts nothing in your body. So I encourage everyone who has any issues, if you're a guy in your 70s, man, and you pee all the time, get X39. I mean, it's just not even an issue for me anymore. I'm like I'm like a kid now, and on so many other levels, I don't nap. I'm not. I still may be annoying. Am I a little bit annoying?
Yeah.
Danielle said, "Yeah." Without hesitation. I'm still annoying, okay? I'm me, but I'm healthy me, and at 71, man, I'm not thinking about like which active living home I'm going to live in. I'm thinking about when am I going to finish this house so I can go prospecting, so I can, look at the stars, so I can buy a telescope and spend an hour every night looking at the stars. It's a magical universe. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying for me, why get old? It doesn't make sense. So the why age, this thing is on, if you order now, you can get a free Silent Nights. And I don't, call Dr. Stacy if you're confused how to do it. Call Dr. Stacy if you want to order an X2O machine. She's always available. She is just a dynamo. And if you're looking to make a living, this is a pretty cool way to make a living. You can make a nice if you share one of these X2O machines, and this is going to be the future of water infused with light. I don't care what water filter you have now, and this is not really a water filter. This is a water infused with light that is meant to over time, and you feel it right away. You can feel it right away, but I'm just saying over time, think of it, you'll be getting younger and younger every year, and that's the whole point of all these technologies, of uh, the whole life wave approach is to reverse aging. So anyway, let's let's just think this is a new morning. This is a new day. This is the future. The future proves past this, but you are the news. We are the news. It's all up to us. It's not about what's going on the X channel. Okay, in my opinion, it's about it's a new morning. It's a new start. We got up this morning. We drove out east, and we picked up 3 new chickens. We got 4 chickens now, man. I mean, we're gonna get goats. It's like who does this? But everyone should be doing this. And like I said, if you're kind of like on an enlightened level, or you're head or you're on the pathway, or you're on the road, and you need to be around people that are on a high level, and you think you might benefit from being out here with us, come on out, man. It's rugged. You're not gonna have, like I said, we just got a flush toilet. It's like the biggest thing that ever happened to us. But we eat together. We have simple meals. We don't eat until 12 o'clock. We eat the same stuff, and we live a simple life, but it's growing. And if you can add to the community, and if you want to come up and just work with us, we work hard every day. We're building something. We're building gardens. We're building chicken coops. We're going to be building fences. We're finishing the house. Please God, we'll be building other houses. You want to come up and build your own house? We'll help you. I mean, we're making a divine place in the physical world. Does the government bother us? Not yet, but if they do, we know what to do. Our friend told us, declare yourself an agricultural community, and whatever. It's just, we are agriculture. That's what we're just exploring different ways. Is it like staying in a hotel? Hell no, man. It's rugged up here, but it's fun. So, maybe if Trump gives Iranian Muslim, okay, you look 1,000 times healthier than when you. Yeah, I feel 1,000 times healthier, and I really think a lot of it's the patches. So I don't know why anybody would not get the patches. And you say, "Well, it's too expensive." Health insurance is too expensive. It's too expensive not to get this stuff, because then you're going to get old, and who wants that? Can I camp up there for a week till I tell you? Yeah, you can come up for a week. That's what I would expect. I'm not saying come and move here. You'll love it. It's like, see it if you like it. You may hate us. You may like it. Man, that guy. He's such a nice guy online, but he's a jerk. And I don't know. It's I can be a jerk sometimes. We all can, and but we want to have people here who are, we do have. There are limitations, and like I said, yeah. If you want to come, yeah, absolutely. Come for a week. Come for a few days. Meet the peeps, and you really have. You just got. They're going to go away by themselves. They'll go away, because it's going to be dry. It rained here, which never happens, although it is monsoon season. But anyway, yeah, if you want to come for a few days, why not, man? You just send Daniela a thing. I feel 1,000 times healthier. I got no pressures. I got no bullshit. I got no New York City. I don't take the subway. I don't look out and see. I don't see any chemtrails up here right now, and it's pretty cool. So it's a new morning. Let's just start celebrating the new life that we're all going to enjoy.
The night was hotter than hell and forever long. I can see the first light breaking through the trees. I feel the changes in the cool breeze of freedom. It's a new morning. We never saw it coming, hiding in plain sight. Banksters taking power, stealing our lives. They were looking to bury us in debt, shame and fear. But our roots grew stronger as we reached into the air with freedom. It's a new morning. With each day we're rising up in this world with the power of love, with the power of peace, the power of joy, the power of truth, and the power of freedom. It's a new morning. It's a new morning. It's a new morning.
So thanks for joining us up here. Sorry about the after music, but yeah, if you want to reach out, you could always Instagram Daniela QD. Is QD Chernesky?
770 again.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you could always reach out, but yeah, if you want to come camp out with us for a week, we'd be up to it. We could use the help. We can always use a helping hand, and you can kind of get to know us and see what we're doing up here. And I think it's a amazing project, and we want to share it with other people. We wanted people to be living the dream, man. And if this is your dream, come on, and we'll show you how to do it, or you'll do it with us, or whatever. But we're not we're not here to. Yeah, I mean, we are here. We expect to be uh, prosperous. They're saying that there are trillions of dollars worth of reparation money that we're going to get. That there was some kind of trust developed in like the late 1800s that is for the people, and that we are all going to have lots of money, and it's never going to be a worry again. It's just these creeps getting out of the way, but they're moving away fast. Thanks for coming. Let's see, today is Saturday, right? So we'll see you tomorrow night, God willing, and let's get out there with a big smile on our face and rock.